That's loading up. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the next edition of Coffee, Tea, You and Me with Coach Powell. I am having such a wonderful time with my special guests backstage. I cannot wait to bring them up. You guys are going to have a great time meeting them. If you are watching us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, all the places where we're broadcasting, I super appreciate you. I'm going to give you some background a little bit before we get the show started and kicked off. If you are following us for the first time, do me a favor, hit us up on YouTube, give me the thumbs up, give me the like button, whatever you got going on in front of you, whether you're coming on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. I wanted you to follow us, subscribe, do whatever else you need to do to stay in the mix with us. I cannot wait to share some of the beautiful things we're going to share with you. Right now, we are in a series, right? And the series is really based on the research that I've been doing as a coach for the last 20 years. I've been trying to put together the basic techniques, the strategies that every human being needs to know to get to a level of development, a level of discernment, a level of wisdom that they need to go so they can get everything they need to get out of life. You know, at this age, you might be able to see a couple of gray hairs. I'm all about dialing in to the greatest sense of me that I could ever get to. And I try to do everything I can to help others do exactly the same. And so I know that if you don't have a good system, a good strategy, a good approach to your own professional and personal development, then you're going to be lacking in that ability to bring your A game. Whatever you decide your A game is, and you need to decide what your A game is. Whatever that is, you need the tools. And that's what this series is all about. The VisionQuest series is all about understanding all the elements that you need to have to put together the strategic package for yourself so that you can be successful in 2023, 2024, moving forward in your life forever. There shouldn't be a reason. There shouldn't be a year that comes through that you don't feel like a champion, that you don't feel like you're doing the things that you need to be doing to keep going, to move forward. I did a show about this time last year, and it had dawned on me that this is the season where you find a lot of the traditional Black Greek letter organizations are having their anniversary. And in this time, they're all talking about renewal and all that kind of stuff. And so it dawned on me that one of the greatest Black women's organization is Delta Sigma Theta. And I had a chance to see, because my wife is a Delta, and I get a chance to piggyback on a lot of things that they think about. And one of their key ideas is this idea of fortitude. When I did the research on it, and fortitude, is not just about your ability to stick and continue or to keep standing. It is about your ability to be so connected to where you're going that nothing can stop you from getting to where you're going. So that led me to this notion of what does it take to have fortitude? What does it take to have resilience? What does it take to have the kind of grit, stick to itness, whatever you want to call it, gumption, right? To keep plowing through no matter what happens to you, no matter what's going on around you, in spite of your environment and so on and so forth. Because I know a lot of people fall victim to the environment, right? And then it dawned on me that stronger people are better at this. The more flexibility you have, the more open you are, the more passion you share, the more everything that makes you strong. Those are the things that are essential for you to develop the kind of fortitude you need to have. And so as I began to think this through for this, I was going to do a special presentation for the Deltas about fortitude. I began to realize that it's not just fortitude. Because the thing that strengthens us the most are the things that we get from other people. It's the community we come from. It's the wind beneath our wings. It's the things that make us give us a little feel like we're supported, like somebody has. You get to be strong in areas where you don't got to do it all by yourself. When you come from something, when you experience something, or you experience a group of people that helped you become whatever it is you want to become. And then when we talk about becoming, you're talking about belonging. And so those of you who know me know I'm all about your network. I'm all about creating the network that you need to create to be the person that you need to be, and learning how to develop and maintain and create that network. And what you need to become stronger is a strong network. You can't be resilient. You can't have fortitude. You can't continue to stand all alone by yourself year after year after year after year after year. It's not possible. It's not doable. It is not even right. Human beings are meant to be together. We're meant to share resources. We're meant to create environments together, and environments where we can thrive, not exploit, not drive each other crazy or create death around us, but to create more abundance. And we could do that when we're all thinking in the right way. So you got to have a vision for what you want. You have the vision for where you intend to go. I always tell people, if you can answer this question, who do I want to be? What do I want to have? And where do I want to go? If you can answer those questions, those be, do, have questions, what I want to be, what I want to do, what I want to have. If you can answer those questions, then you have everything you need to have in order to create a vision for yourself. But if you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, you don't know what you want to have, you don't know where you want to go, and you got more questions than answers, then it's hard to have vision. It's hard to have that sustainable point where you're going to talk. And we're going to talk about all the aspects of vision today. But I wanted to give you just a big basic introduction. So hold on. If you're an entrepreneur out there, you're together for next year, I'm going to give you every reason to understand why you should add vision to your plans. And my guest coaches that are coming on, they're going to share their experience and what things they think about when it comes to vision. And I'm going to do that in just a few minutes. But I want to make sure that you know, if you are coming, if you're looking in or calling in, or my girl Claudette reminded us some people are AKA and they know all about that. I feel you, girl. I feel you. Like, you got any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat. Put them in the chat. If you got a business that you want us to know about or you want to represent today, put that information in the chat as well. I'll do everything I can to make sure people know what you're up to. One quick announcement. Let you guys know that on the 6th of February, I have a fantastic event that's coming up. I'm going to be doing one of these every quarter. I call these my leverage up events. And it's all about helping you create leverage between information and people so that you can grow and grab the next things you need to grow in your business. I have got a crack panel of experts who are going to be talking to us about some of the things that every entrepreneur needs to know about to make sure that they don't fall victim to the law situations that are happening. So we're going to be looking at what's going on in politics. We're going to be looking on what's going on in economics. We're going to be looking at what's going on in society. We're going to be looking at what's happening in technology, what's happening legally, and also what's happening in the ecosystem. And we got panels of experts who are going to come and talk about the CHIPS Act. They're going to be talking about what's going on with the blockchain and cryptocurrency and all those technological issues underpinning the infrastructure issues that are creating havoc in our economy right now, and how can we overcome? Like, what do we need to do to be aware of what's going on, and how do we overcome it? We're going to talk about what's happening in technology. We're going to talk about what's happening with the political situation. How are these laws that are coming out on the state level, the local levels, and the national levels, how are they affecting the small businesses, and how advantage of the money that did not get spent for the COVID relief situation? How do we get our piece of the pie and take advantage of it? So we're talking about all that stuff and everything you need to know to be successful. We're going to pack it in. And the experts that we have, they're volunteering their time, their expertise, their talent, and to sit on panel discussions all day long to talk about these things. So everybody can leave, with enough information, enough contacts with enough people, so they can move themselves in the right direction to a place where they feel moved and protect themselves from the things that they maybe didn't know you had to protect yourself against. And so it's going to be a great conference, and I hope that you all will sign up. I'll put the link in the conference, in the chat, so that everybody get a chance to check it out. If you sign up now, you're going to be able to get the best deal. Obviously, it's only $49, but if you sign up now, you get that, but you also get a chance to be in the drawing for over $10,000 of prizes and gifts that I've already collected from entrepreneurs, just specifically to help entrepreneurs and business leaders move forward. But you got to get your ticket in order to get in the pool. So hopefully everybody will take advantage of that. Everybody will enjoy it, and it's all about trying to make sure that we have everything we need to have to thrive. Anything less than that is not what Coach Powell is all about. We are all about thriving, all about creating, all about generating more access, more opportunity as easily and as quickly as is possible. Understanding that, you know, we can't all do everything well, but we can move in the right direction together, and we can do a great amount just in that regard. Okay, so the next person I want to bring up is, I have to say, phenomenal. There's no other word that describes, you know, Claudette Forbin. She's just phenomenal. She's a talent that I've been blessed to have in my life and blessed to share in other occasions. And this won't be any different occasion. One of my favorite New Yorkers, and you know, she comes to us with a boatload of experience, of wisdom, of talent, and well earned. You know, and she's got some beautifully coiffed headed gray hair. And I have to tell you, stylish is just the tip of the iceberg. That's what she got style in space. And I always tell people all the time, it's not just what you do, it's how you do it. And Miss Claudette knows how to do it and do it well. And she carries it just like that. So I bring to you, without any further ado, or without any more fanfare than that. But I used to tell you, this is a lady that I have ultimate respect for and love for, and I can't wait to hear what Claudette has to share with us about what she thinks vision is and how we could use vision moving forward. Go for it, Claudette.
Oh my goodness. Oh, my son. I mean, Marvin, I love you because you always make me want to look around the room and say, who's he talking about? Oh yeah, that'd be me. Hi. Hello, everybody. First of all, sorry about the voice. I'm getting over a cold. But, you know, I really love this topic that Marvin is talking about, especially for entrepreneurs, you know. And it's essential for entrepreneurs who are transitioning from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. Because, see, in this country, we are taught how to be employees. We're taught how to get a job, we're taught how to pay our bills, and we're taught how to buy stuff. And then we repeat that. And then when we have too much stuff, we throw out stuff, and then we get more stuff. But we never really think about the future. We never really think about the what ifs or going forward. As an entrepreneur, it really starts with a thought. It starts with a vision. It starts with a dream of something that you wanted to do, some service you want to bring. So, and then you first, you know, I think we could all say this. You first got, nah, that's not for me. But that vision of you doing that dream keeps coming and coming. And then one day you say, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. And you start looking into it. And what holds you up is, it's not the start. It's kind of like that vision is usually somewhere in the, I'm a success and this is what I've accomplished, or I'm in the middle ground, but you never have a vision of this is what it's going to look like when I'm starting, because that's always hard. That's always messy. But for the true entrepreneur, the vision of the end game is what keeps them moving. And let me make this a little bit more personal. So I had two visions. So, you know, and you hear this a lot, you know, when I was younger, I weighed a whole lot less, right? And then over time I gained weight. Yeah, fast forward. But then one day, you know, I had to get on the ground for something, and I realized that it was taking me a really long time to get off the ground. And I said, okay, Claudette, you either need to do something about this, or one day you're going to fall down and die because you're going to be too embarrassed to ask anybody to help you off the ground, because, you know, you're not supposed to be there. And we've all had that moment when we say, make that decision to lose weight, right? And to get in shape. But mine was driven not so much about just getting in shape, but it was mostly a question of health. And it began to be a vision. Like what I was envisioning was, as I've gotten older, is to be able to preserve my dignity, my physical dignity as I got older. You know, I didn't want to be on a walker. I didn't want to have to keep going, baby, can you help me walk across the street? Baby, can you help me get on, get up the stairs? That was the vision I was fighting against. I did not want to be that person that could not move myself through life. Now that's the vision. Here came the planning. I said, okay, Claudette, you've done this before. You've worked to lose weight before. Now let's put it into place. Now don't make the same mistakes you've made before where you try to make these big, big goals and you're going to do these really big, big things and you can't meet those goals because you have to build up to it. And I took all of what I had tried, my try and fails from before, and I said, okay, let me script out a plan. And that's exactly what I did. I had calendars with, that's what I'm going to do today, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow, this is exactly like that. And I remember the very first day that I had to do my workout. And I sat at my computer and I was just basically staring at whatever was on the screen. It was 3:00 in the morning. And I looked at myself and said, you will sit here, you will not go to bed until you do your blasted workout. And I was like, I'm not letting you go to bed. And I said, fine. And at 3:00 in the morning, I did my first workout. The thing is with any vision and any plan, it starts, or goal, whichever you want to call it, you got to have a plan on how you're going to reach the levels of, or get you through what you have to do. And then you actually have to do it. Okay, he was talking about deltas. I love my deltas, but let's talk about all the Black Panhellenic. We all understand the concept of resiliency and fortitude. But resiliency and fortitude comes with fighting through the struggle, fighting through when I just don't want to do it, fighting through of, my gosh, I've been doing this for 2 or 3 months and I'm not seeing any results, and keep going because I may not be seeing any outward, but inwardly my body is doing the happy dance because I was getting more fit. And then one day you put on something and it's like, this fits much better. And that motivates you. So that was my first vision. And it was about how do I preserve my dignity as I age. But then in my later years, I decided to become an entrepreneur after having worked my entire life, having worked for someone my entire life. And I decided that what I wanted was something that I built that no one could take away from me, where I didn't have to come in and worry about today they're going to fire me because whatever reason, and what I want to hear or what I want to do is my accomplishments gave me the knowledge that I could take care of myself and that I didn't have to rely on going in and negotiating that for a salary. I was going to give up my time and my autonomy. That's what a job is. For a salary, for pay, you're giving up your time and your autonomy. And that's going to give you the life that you want. And I want to be an entrepreneur. But you know what? The vision of me being an entrepreneur, and I could see it, hitting all these levels, 100,000, 250,000, $1 million, all that kind of stuff. Because within my business, I'm a personal financial consultant. Finance is money is just made in finance. But mine is specifically working with the average everyday person to help them make better financial decisions so that their family they have the tools to make better financial decisions that actually work for them and their families. That's what I do. But I had to fight through, even though I had this vision of my success and me getting there, I had to fight through the fact that I've been an employee my entire life. And I had to fight through all the things that I didn't realize that I had to fight through. I didn't realize that my gender was an issue for me. I didn't realize that my race was an issue for me. I didn't realize my age was an issue for me. And I'm like, Claudette, when did all this stuff become an issue for you? It never bothered you before. I didn't realize that the constant negativity about us had started to incorporate into me. And I know, Marvin, I could talk about this forever. I'm sorry. But,
I to share really quickly with everybody is if they didn't understand quickly what Claudette is sharing with you all is how vision can help you not just be clear about where you're going, but also it's impossible to be clear about where you're going from the start. You learn as you're moving through all these other obstacles. And so your vision still has to be strong enough to keep you moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's not,
Absolutely.
you're not really finished with your vision if it's not strong enough to overcome the obstacles that you're going to find along the way, because you don't really get clarity about your vision until you're right on top of it.
Exactly. And that's what you thank you, because sometimes, especially if we have a vision that I want to do this, and I'll use this. My niece, when she went to school, she wanted to be a doctor without border. And then as she started studying for it and everything, she realized, I don't want to be a doctor. Forget being a doctor without a border. That was her vision, and it changed. And it's changed a few times as she's learned more about herself and what is involved. So you as an entrepreneur, as anything, your vision is going to change as you learn more, not only about what it is that you wanted to do, but who you are, but if you're clear that you want to make a change in your life, and you're open to allowing that change to morph, that vision to kind of morph, you will get to where you want to be. But there has to be something underlying that drives you forward. I'm well aware of my capabilities, and there's pretty much, if I put my mind to it, okay, I can't be a gymnast. Okay, I'm 5'11". I will never be Simone Biles. I might, and I'm too old to be Katie Ledecky. But that's okay. I can be alive. But there's not much that I can't accomplish if I put my mind to it. But as I've been on this entrepreneurial journey, and the vision of me, reaching these levels of these accolades, building a team, really being known for helping families making better financial decisions, being that resource within my community, because that's really my vision. I'm an advocate. When I'm like, no, and it becomes known, the reputation is, talk to Claudette. She will help you. I've arrived. That I have done what God has put me on this earth to do. But to get there, I've got to be willing to go through the struggle. I got to be willing to take the hits and really realize that all of those hits, etc., are all internal, are all mindset. It has nothing to do with your physicality. It has nothing to do with your intelligence.
I told you, I told everybody she was a genius, and there it is. Mic drop, Claudette Forbin. I can't wait. Stay backstage, Claudette. I'm gonna bring you back. We gotta talk some more about this business stuff. All right, I'm gonna get my boy Melvin Murphy up, and I want you all to know that Melvin might be coming second, but he is never coming in last. All right, he is the top of my list of just amazingly talented people that I feel blessed to have known. I've known Melvin for near about 20 years. It's been a long while. And in fact, I hunted him down because he wrote an article that kind of blew me away. And I was like, I got a local author who's writing about this networking stuff and has written it and shared it with Dr. Meisner and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I got to meet this guy. And I had just come from New York City myself. And I was like, okay, I got to figure out how I can get on this guy's agenda, and there's so much to learn from him, and it's never proved. It's so much. The brother is talented. He's smart. He's wise. He's even good looking. I got to give it to him. I got to give it to him. He looks all right. He's easy on the eye. And by the way, he's single for you ladies who out there. You might be checking him out. But Dr. Melvin Murphy. And I knew him before he was Dr. Melvin Murphy, but I'm proud to know him as Dr. Melvin Murphy. I'm going to bring him to the stage right now. You his thoughts on vision, and then I'm gonna bring home a couple ideas and thoughts from myself and my research. And by the way, if you haven't already, you can click on the link that I have in the chat. You can see it on Facebook and on LinkedIn. You can get that free training document that I put together, and it's got a ton of information. We're not going through all that information about vision, but you need to know this if you truly want to get this vision thing right. You need to know this information. Okay, Dr. Murphy. Bring him home. Tell him what it's all about, Doc.
It's been 20 years since we've known each other. Oh my God. I remember the day you reached out to me, and I think you were quite shocked that I was like, hey, let's get together. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Melvin Murphy, and Marvin, I want to thank you for that introduction, man. You need to come on the road with me. You could be my opening act. So vision, I'm going to talk about my vision. The first thing I do when I want to go after something, whatever it is, if I want to write an article, if I want to write a book, or or go after a client or whatever it is, the first thing I do is I use visualization. I see myself at the end of what I'm trying to do. If I can't see it for myself, then I don't necessarily believe that I can do it. So I have to want and know what I'm going to see at the end of that vision. And to me, and this is me, and I'm not trying to get into religion and all that, but my visualization is just like faith. I have to, sometimes you can't see it, but you got to believe in it. And so that's the first thing I do. And the second thing I ask myself is why? Why do I want to achieve that? How is that going to help push me forward? How is that going to help my goal? How is that going to elevate me? And not only elevate me, but how is it going to help me elevate the people in my life that I'm trying to help? See, it's not all just about me, but it's all about what I'm trying to do. So I have to answer that question why. And if I can't answer that question why, then I'm not going to do it. The third thing is my how, my methodology. How am I going to get there? How am I going to get there? What do I have in my arsenal, in my intellectual capital, in my resources that's going to help me get there? If I don't have it, then I need to step back and go get those resources or go get that education or whatever it is I need to get me to my methodology. And then I review all of my skills. I go through my whole database. I have this skill. I have this skill. I'm missing this skill. I need to gain this one. I know this skill a little bit, and so I go through all of that and I make sure that I have it so that I can achieve it because just like Miss Claudette, it's like there is nothing I can't do if I believe in it and I've educated myself to go out there and achieve it. Nothing. Okay. I can't be Simone Biles either, but I can do a cartwheel. It ain't gonna be a good one, but I can do one. So you have to believe in your methodology. And then comes the planning. Once I've done my visualization, I've answered my why, I've talked about my methodology and my how, then I start planning. And what I do, also similar to Ms. Claudette, is that I lay out my entire plan. I might box it out step by step. I'm going to do this first. I'm going to do that second. I'm going to do this. And I have different ways I have to maybe go. So I lay my chart out. And I will put time frames on that chart, 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, or whatever it's going to take. And I follow that chart until it gets to the end. Now you may have to deviate or take a detour doing some of your actions when you actually start implementing some of this stuff, but you have to follow your plan, and not only follow your plan, but you have to work that plan. And then the fifth thing I think I was thinking about is you have to believe. You have to believe in yourself when there will be no one else to believe in you. Your friends and your family want you to succeed because they love you. Your enemies want you to fail because they hate your guts. So whether you succeed or whether you fail, those successes and those failures are yours and yours alone. And so you have to believe in yourself like there is no tomorrow. Other people can't see your dream. They see their dream. You have to see your dream and the vision of what you're trying to achieve. And you have to go for it, no matter how long they talk about you. No matter what they say about you. I have a degree from American University, and here I am working at the time, working in retail, trying to make it. People were looking at me like, you have this great degree. Why don't you go get a job? Why don't you go get a job? But they didn't understand that job working in retail was my stepping stone for something greater to come. That just kept the lights on. Okay. That just kept the lights on so that I could do other things. And let me tell you something, it's going to take a long time. Please don't think very few of us are overnight success. It has taken me 20 years, and Marvin can attest to this. It has taken me 20, 25 years on this road to get to where I am today. Never stopping, always adding to my dream, always going after my vision, doing the books, doing the speaking, doing the writing, getting the degree, because I got the doctorate degree because people were on television making more money. And I'm like, well, I wanted to do that. So I went and did that, took time off, closed my businesses down, came back. Okay. Believe in yourself. Do what you need to do to get it done. And it's going to be tough. But as long as you believe in what you're seeing and working your plan and going after it, you will be able to achieve it. Now, you want to be an entrepreneur? I'm an entrepreneur. You're going to have to answer some questions, and they're going to have to be some hard questions about yourself. You're going to have to answer, who are you to go after that and do that thing that you want to do? Who are you? That's number one. Number two is, what are you willing to do to get there? What are you willing to do to get there? Because it's not going to be a straight road. It's going to be a curvy road. It's going to be some ups. It's going to be some downs. What are you willing to do to get there? And here's the most important one, I believe. Who are you willing to become to get there? Who are you willing to become to get there? I'm going to leave you with that, Marvin.
You know, Melvin, you remind me, I remember as a youngster at Kent State University, Dr. Maulana Karenga, who is the founder of Kwanzaa, always reminded us whenever he would come to campus about the 3 questions that he used to create what he calls Kawaida theory. And he says these 3 questions are the most ancient questions that come from the deepest parts of Africa, that Africans have always asked themselves these 3 questions. Who am I? Am I really who I say I am? And am I all that I ought to be? And so I still use these questions to teach and work with my customers, my clients now, because I recognize, like Oprah has recognized, like Michelle Obama has recognized, that we're all on the pathway to discovery, to discover the best of ourselves, the best of our potential, the best of our possibilities, so that we can become what we're supposed to become. And so when I do my work in vision, I often help people understand that the destiny, the dream that Claudette had talked about earlier, is about not just answering those 3 questions, but continuing to pursue the answers to those questions.
Because not only that, but live those questions.
Yes.
Live them.
Yes.
Every
absolutely.
single day. You got to live them. For instance, you have to be able to look back and as you're moving forward, remember the mistakes you made previously. I have spent thousands and thousands of dollars over the 20 years making some mistakes.
Yep.
Okay. And I guarantee you today, I won't make those mistakes. Okay. I'm not going to spend that kind of money to make those mistakes. So I take it and I learn and I build on it.
I don't get this talent in the room every week. So I want to take advantage while you're both here. And I wasn't planning on doing what I'm about to do right now. So I'm going to apologize for what I'm about to do right now. But I got to tell everybody out in the audience who's watching this either live or later on in the recording, which a lot of people will watch it later on in the recording. You know, Claudette is not just a super financial advisor, super financial advocate today. She's a former attorney. And, you know, once an attorney, always an attorney, but she's run that gauntlet of making it through law school and doing the things that need to happen to be a professional in that career and making the transition out of that career into this new career. That required not just vision, but like she said earlier, fortitude. Dr. Murphy is not just the great communications professional that we now know him to be, you know, and teaching and training and developing others on how to communicate, developing, running his own communications company. And I think he's even worked with a couple of nonprofit organizations as well. And he served with me. I used to serve on the Small Business Commission for Fairfax County, but he's a former Marine, you know, and there's something about that core training that every Marine has to deal with. That is something that, you know, you all could learn from when it comes to talking to him. So when he gives you his contact information, when Claudette gives your contact information, put that in the chat or whatever. This is a resource for us to reach out to. And I would be doing them a disservice if I didn't remind you all that these are people who are not just talented, but the people who care.
Marvin, I think I want to mention this. The thing about me being in the Marine Corps, the core mission is to complete the mission.
That's right.
No matter what. You go down that path, complete that mission at all costs. And I can tell you at all costs, because I remember I buried my father on a Saturday. I had a paper due on Sunday when I was in postgraduate school. And so that's the kind of drive and dedication you have to have. People were saying to me, well, no, you should take time off. You should take time off. No. I'm going to complete this degree for my mother and father in their honor. So I got to do this. And so I didn't mourn until like maybe five months later after I graduated. So I just wanted to add that about the Marine Corps.
That's so important, guys, because when you talk about your vision, there's going to be a lot of things that come out that will try to interrupt your vision in life. A lot of things will happen to try to discourage you. A lot of things will happen that'll try to move you in a different direction. But you have got to you got to take the time, first of all, to make sure your vision is accomplishing all the things that we're going to talk about next. And I want to thank my studio guests. Guys, hang around. Don't go anywhere. By the way, if you're out there in the audience, you have a question for either Dr. Murphy or Claudette, do me a favor and put that in the chat. I'll make sure they get it to it. They'll make sure they get to it too as well. And you too, by the way, if you have any questions as I'm talking about what I'm about to talk about next, feel free to interrupt. Feel free to raise your hand. I'll see you backstage. If you guys want to add something to it or whatever, that's great. Even challenge. That's fine. I'm all up for that. You know, let's have the discussion. Let's go there. All right, because that's how people learn, is people getting into these real time kinds of discussions. Okay, so I'm gonna put you guys backstage and we're gonna get this party started. Let's talk about vision. Now, if you look at the document that I have with you and I share with you in the chat, if you can get to it, go ahead and open that up, take a look at it. If you can't, don't worry about it. I will do the best I can to articulate it, but you can always come back to LinkedIn or back to YouTube or back to Facebook to get the copy of the document. Okay, so right up front, when we're talking about vision, I want you to pay attention to the illustration that's right there. You see the illustration of a young woman who's basically climbing the corporate ladder. She's basically trying to figure out, you know, how she's going to get to where she is now, to where she wants to go, recognizing there's going to be some hills, some valleys, some bumps in the road, some peaks, but always moving forward, always progressing, always going forward. In order for you to embrace that kind of mentality, that always moving forward kind of mentality, you're going to need 3 key concepts. And when it comes to your vision and elements of your vision, how are you going to get to the right types of affirming language? How are you going to get to your affirmation statements, all that kind of stuff? You need these things to do a couple of things for you. One, they must strengthen and empower you. If you have a vision statement, and when you read it, and it needs to be well articulated and well thought through. When you read it, when you visualize it, when you see it, when you experience it, it has to cause within you an empowerment. That means it has to be able to, you have to feel like Melvin said, you know, you have to feel like yourself rising up a little bit. You have to feel yourself, you know, getting a little more backbone, a little more gumption, a little more stick-to-itness, a little more oomph. If that doesn't happen, then your vision statement is not good enough. It's not good enough. If it doesn't strengthen you, if it doesn't empower you, if you don't feel it, I mean, literally feel it. Get wrong when it comes to these corporate vision statements. They're thinking it's about attracting people to you. No, it's about being attracted to yourself. It's about understanding first and foremost that you have something special to offer, something special to do, and there's a reason for that to be happening. If you don't have that, the vision statement is not good enough. The second thing it needs to happen, it's got to be super engaging. If you read your vision statement or you share your vision statement with others and they don't feel connected to it and they don't feel like they're empowered by it, they're probably not the right people, number one. And that's a good thing. But for those of you who those people that it should engage and should empower them, they should be able to see that and see themselves in it and see themselves connecting to something that's going to move the needle forward, not just for you, but for them. So that requires other people, I'm going to suggest you go back to the drawing board and get back to that vision. Make sure that you recognize, because by the way, if you could do it all by yourself, that's not really vision. That's goals. Strategy. That's technique. We're not talking about that. We're all going to talk about that later on, but we're talking about vision now. Vision is the dream. Vision is the fantasy. Vision can't be accomplished without the help, not just of yourself, but from other people. In fact, number 3, your vision needs to be so strong that the universe responds to it. And, you know, what I mean by that is, I don't care where you are spiritually, you need to know that your vision is something that the universe wants to have happen. You know, it's something that it's in your DNA, it's in your destiny, it's in your purpose. It helps you create focus and drive and mission. And if it doesn't do that, it's not there. So now, if you read the document that I have in front of you, and we don't have time to go through it all right now, but I want to explain to you how I've organized this. I've organized this in a way that will help you, first of all, define what your vision is and what it should be, right? The things that I think what our most spiritual traditions would agree, your vision needs to be true, it needs to be honorable, it needs to be pure, it needs to be lovely, it needs to be commendable. Very, very important. You know, the best writers, the best authors have talked about vision, and I've had to capture as many quotes as I possibly could to give you an idea and some what some of our greatest thinkers have ever come up with when it comes to vision. I've given you some basic interpretation. And the reason why I've gone to this length to help you understand what vision is and what vision can be is because I figured out that so many of us are just doing stuff. And we're doing stuff, but we don't have a good reason to do the stuff that we do. And we're trying to create plans for businesses and corporations and organizations that we belong to, and we don't have a reason why anybody should get involved, or why anybody should pay attention, or why anybody it's not bigger than us. And, you know, Gandhi, one of my favorite leaders, said once that the greatest thing that he's ever learned is really to shut up and listen. Not just listen to other people, listen to the spirit within himself, and then respond. He's clear about what that spirit is saying, what that's developing. So people who have vision are able to, when they speak, when they're able to share information with people, they're able to connect in a way that those who are just flapping their gab are not able to do, because they're not able to come from a position of authenticity. They're not able to come from an authority that is from their own wisdom and their own experience. What I've helped you get to know is 2 of my favorite people, 2 of the most authentic, you know, people that I know, and they've expressed to you and their thoughts on what vision is. Expression. And it's super, super important. Don't just think you got it going on because you got a few goals that you're trying to hit, or you put together some strategy. Those things are not going to get you over the rough parts, and the rough parts are coming. They're not going to get you over. They're not going to invite people into this experience with you because there's not going to be enough juice there. There's not going to be enough meat there. You know, the Bible says without a vision, people perish. It is so vital that if you're a leader, and everybody should consider themselves a leader, then you have to go forward with a vision that's going to mean something. Because whether you know it or not, people are following you. People are looking at you. People are watching you. And you might not be a father or a husband or a role model in your community. That doesn't mean people aren't following you. Look at your Facebook community. Look at your LinkedIn community. Look at you know, the people you emulate, and trust me, there's some people emulating you, whether you want them to or not, whether you want to take responsibility or not. You know, I love my boy Charles Barkley, who says, you know, I'm not a role model, and he said that until somebody woke him up to the reality is you can't not be a role model. you're absolutely a role model, and you need to embrace it and accept it, and then act accordingly. Just because you don't want to be a role model doesn't mean that you're not. You are what God put you here to be, not what you think you're here to be. And I think that's just, I don't want to proselytize to people, but I want you to know that it's super important. And like Melvin said, you got to believe, you got to have a faith, and it's got to be something, and it's got to be bigger than you, and not just yourself. It's got to be bigger than you. If it's not bigger than you, then it's not going to be enough to get you through the rough patches. And take the time to read what I put together for you. Take the time to get your vision straight. Add that to your planning process. Next week, we're going to get into goals. Then the week after that, we're going to get into mission. And then the week after that, we're going to get into your daily consistent habits. All of these things need to be well written, well articulated, and well executed in order for you to continue that march toward the dream that you have, toward the success that you want, toward the person that you are trying to become. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion. I know I did. I want to bring our key people back for any last minute thoughts that they may want to share. I know you guys are back there chopping in the bits. Anything has happened that generates in your mind that you say this resonates with you, that you want to share.
I'm going to jump in before Dr. Murphy, because you know what? He's so good, like no one will listen to me. But listen, recently, I heard this story about this elder in a village, and everybody respected him. And then one day there was a baby in front of his door, and everybody then vilified him because they said, how could you be this elder who's telling us all this stuff and you father a baby? He never said a word. He just raised a little girl. It was a girl. At the age of 12, and follow with me, the age of 12, there's a knock on his door, and it's the mother of that child. And she said to him, I've done you a disservice, because I was too embarrassed to let them know that this was my child, and I let you be vilified and attacked when I know that you didn't deserve it. So she calls the whole village together and says what she had done. And the village said to him, why did you let us do this to you? And what he said was, because raising this child was more important than anything else. That story resonated with me so much, because it reminded me, when I became my mom's primary caregiver, I was taking care of her. I was working a full-time job. It was a lot. But every day I had to adjust. And because one of the results of her stroke was she had vascular dementia, she couldn't be left in the house by herself. And when that story was told to me, and there was a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, a lot of all this emotion, family, all that stuff, y'all can get it. But then it said, because it was bigger than the child, my caring for my mom was bigger than everything else. What you said about your vision as to why you're doing what you're doing, it has to be bigger than the ups, the downs, the knocks, and everything else, because that will not keep you going. So what you said, Marvin, was so on point. It has to be bigger, even if nobody understands it. It has to be bigger. Even if everybody says, oh, just put her in a home, or why didn't you speak up for yourself? It has to be bigger. The ultimate was, for me, it was to take care of my mom. And for me now, it is to be that influence. So I really love that you made that point.
Dr. Murphy, any last thoughts?
My last thoughts are going to be years ago when I don't know what book it was, my first, second, I don't know which one it was, but I had the opportunity to interview Doug Wilder. For those of you who don't know who Doug Wilder is, he was the first senator since the Reconstruction for the Commonwealth of Virginia. He became the first lieutenant governor of Virginia and the first Black governor of Virginia and the first Black governor in the United States. Living legend, and I had an opportunity to interview him. So I was sitting at his feet, just listening to, give me wisdom, give it to me. And he shared this with me, and I want to share it with you. He said, from now on, when you walk into a room, walk in that room like you own it. Stand on your principles, and people will want to associate with you. And I thought it was the most arrogant thing ever. And I was like, I don't know if I could do that. But I did it, and the response was incredible. So I say to you, when you walk into a room, as you do your vision and you grow into your journey, walk in that room like you own it. Stand on your principles, and people will want to associate with you.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, hey, God loves a cheerful giver, and Melvin and Claudette, I am so thankful that you guys decided to give your time today to this topic, to this program, and I hope that others feel as equally or similarly blessed. I got to give a shout out to my girl Annette. She is here visiting, and she has a wonderful business that I think everybody needs to participate in, and that's her information. And so if you get a chance, whether you watch it on Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever, that's her stuff. She's another New York. Y'all probably need to get to know each other. My girl Annette is in the Bronx right now.
Good,
No,
so am I.
Sorry, I messed it up. I'm sorry. She's in Brooklyn.
That's okay. I'm always in Brooklyn.
Hey, it's those 5 boroughs, man. They don't all get along all the time. But
And Marvin, before you sign off, I want to, people want to get in touch with me. They can just call me at my number 703-216-3888, 703-216-3888, or they can go to the website murphyeducationgroup.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Murphy. I really appreciate you. Okay, guys, I'll put you guys backstage as I close out the show, and please hold on because I want to talk to you. Okay, guys, that's the show for today. I hope you loved it. I know I did. Again, grace, gratitude, love, care, and kindness all go to my good friend, Dr. Melvin Murphy and Claudette. I can't ask for more, and I'm so happy and thankful for the privilege of having their time and their energy, and I hope you all too. Those of you who are watching this either on the recording or watching it live, this is a feast of opportunity for you. And so next week, we're going to again talk about more. We're going to get back to talking more about your goals and your strategies and all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to go for mission, and then we're going to go with your daily habits and activities, and then we're going to wrap it all up. So there's no excuse for you not to have a well-planned, well-thought-through, well-developed plan, strategy, whatever you want to have, everything you need to have to be successful in 2023. We're going to make it happen right here. For those of you all going through celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas. For those of you who are celebrating Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa. For those who are celebrating all the other holidays, go for it. Let's have the best time with your families, have the best time with your business, and let's get 2023 back into the space where we're going to be renewed, reinvigorated, regenerated, and have the energy we need to push it out and make it happen. God love you, and I love you too, and off